Got a garage update for y'all. As you can tell, yes, the wagons do move, but they do die. I drove the Coronet yesterday. No, not yesterday. The day before yesterday. And it drove fine. It was hard to get started. It was not wanting to pump fuel up to the carb, but I got it to go. Yesterday, my father went to go take it to run errands, and he could not get it to run. It would not pump fuel, so fuel pump died in it, so that's where it sits. Fuel pump's on order for that. So the wagon's not in the garage. Matador, that started because I thought I had a fuel pump up in the attic. Turns out I don't. I must have gotten rid of it. My dad's custom, well, nothing new with that really. I don't know if what's been featured on the channel with this thing so far or not. Yes, the engine does run, but it needs a new carb. The carb is basically junk. Let's see, what else? This L120 is actually my neighbor's tractor. Another fix-it project. I've worked on this thing 3 times so far this year. Yeah, I know. It's an L120 for you. The first problem was the steering was bad. The steering gears were stripped, so I had to replace the steering gears. And then it came back in about a month because the steering went out again. Turned out the Chinese plastic or nylon bushing that goes on the bottom of the actual steering shaft, that split. So the teeth weren't meshing and the gears quite right, so I found a OEM replacement metal one from work. Put that on there, it's been fine. So those were the first 2 times, and then just the other day he comes over and says, yeah, my mower's smoking. Well, as you can tell, it's all wet in this general region, and it's just got so much grease and junk. And I checked to see if the filter was loose because that was my first guess. No, the oil is back behind the filter adapter, and the filter adapter is like part of the case. So I knew the base gasket blew out. So I have new base gasket with bolts and a new oil seal. I'm just waiting on a governor because this engine would change RPM. Like, it's like as if you were mowing, for example, at full throttle, and then you bumped it with your hand down to like 3/4 throttle. Sometimes it'd stay there for 5 minutes or so. Sometimes it's just 5 seconds, and then it would bump back up to full throttle. But nobody's messing with the throttle. I witnessed it myself. And my coworkers and I kind of came to the conclusion that the governor's just tired in this thing. But yet this tractor doesn't have a ton of hours on it. I mean, only 484. I don't know what the buzzing is on this tractor. It's kind of always done that. My neighbor says he doesn't really care, just as long as it starts and runs and mows. So with that being said, on to, well, I'll get back to this stuff. The 330 is finally fixed. I found out what the issue was with the erratic speeds with the trans. It was the roll pin that goes on the input shaft of the transmission. So on the hydro pump, for example, like this is a similar style hydro pump. There's a roll pin right here that the hydro linkage is attached, or that's how it's attached to the input shaft of the hydro. Well, the original roll pin was cracked and there was actually a section missing, so it was all sloppy. New roll pin, 43 cents from Ace Hardware, fixed that up. So the 330 is like a brand new tractor. You know, it doesn't look it. 318, I'm just ready to drop another engine in it. I'm tired of working on this thing. It's been nothing but a pain in the rear lately. So I'm kind of in the process of trying to find a P218 or a P220 to swap in it. Just be done with it because I like my 20 horse that's in that tractor there, which I should revive it one of these days. I need to put a new key switch and voltage regulator in it because I borrowed them to get this Roper hydro drive, or not Roper, excuse me, Sears hydro drive running, but I gotta fix the fuel tank on that tractor or swap it out for the fuel tank that I sealed. This, I'm not gonna get into this pile of junk in this video. Briggs pull twin from work. It runs, but it just runs way too rich. The carb I have on it is way too big. And this is my freebie from work on Tuesday. They were parting out a rear end from a Sunstar, and one of my coworkers asked if I wanted this before they threw it in the scrap dumpster, and I said, oh sure, whatever, I'll take it. I know I can find a use for it, or I could find someone that can use it. Got home and got it unloaded, and I noticed these two pins sticking out the side, and I said, oh, wait a sec. So I verified with my buddy. That's what I thought it was. High and low range, locking differential. So that rear end, or this center section, will go on either one of those two tractors, or anything else if I wanted to make it fit. So yeah, that was a bonus. Didn't have to pay $200, $300, $400 for a locking diff rear end out of a John Deere 420 or a Simplicity Sunstar. And as you can tell, the Roper GT18 Hydro Drive is all back together. Yeah, no, I did not put that seat on there. That was my father's doing. I just had to leave it on there just so I could show you guys. I thought it was funny. Makes the tractor look even worse, right? But yeah, she was filthy. There's still a lot of grease and grime on this thing. It's by no means clean. I'm gonna have to pressure wash the engine off. But it's all in there and wired up. I even got the hood cable attached. The only thing I need to do is free up the choke cable and find some more screws for that and clean out this air cleaner base a little bit more. I just kind of threw it all together to see what parts I have. But yeah, it's looking like a tractor again. So probably won't be too long before this thing is running and driving. So I guess stay tuned for that. And with that being said, enough of this.